It was October 2021, 3 days before Halloween. Halloween was on a Monday. It sucked that year, so I figured I'd attend a Halloween party that was being thrown by an old friend 2 days prior to Halloween. I dressed up as a naughty version of Raggedy Ann, with striped thigh-high stockings and stiletto heels. I didn't think it was too provocative, but I was still getting hit on by a bunch of pervs in my town. The party was an hour away, so I decided to take a Lyft. The only thing on my mind was having a few drinks and trying not to see my ex-boyfriend. I got there in an hour and 10 minutes, and as soon as I got there, I drowned myself in a cup of vodka and cranberry. I was desperate and eager to bump into my other girlfriends because I knew my ex would be there, and the energy would feel off. But unfortunately, me and my ex did lock eyes, and I saw him with another girl, which sort of triggered me. So in my third cup of vodka, I finally saw the rest of my friends. And I was ready to get hammered and dance the night away. Halfway throughout the party, I stumbled feeling tipsy, and I accidentally opened up a few doors where people were hooking up in because I was looking for the bathroom. But I also accidentally bumped into a guy about 5'11" shoulder to shoulder. I finally kindly said, "Excuse me, I'm sorry." He continued to just stare blankly. I wasn't sure if he was pissed off, but he didn't reply to my apology. He just started to stare at me up and down. It was pretty awkward, but I carried on and finally found the restroom. I took my time and took care of business and quickly fixed my makeup. When I opened up the door, my ex bumps into me and instantly started making conversation. I know it wasn't a good idea because I was still in my feelings, but because I was so intoxicated I couldn't resist. I felt like me and him weren't done yet because he started confessing how he wasn't over me, and I realized the girl he was with was staring at me with hatred in her gut. But then the guy I bumped into continued to stare blankly and stood there like a statue against the corner. I didn't know what was going on, but they both were making me uncomfortable. Out of nowhere, the girl my ex was with comes up to me and decides to make a scene. I try to de-escalate the situation, but instead she throws her rum and coke all over my outfit, and before you know it, tick tick boom. I spazzed out and became a catfight, and the DJ stopped the music. With a few scratches on my face, I decided I'll be the mature one and leave. Furiously, I went outside and smoked a cigarette. I decided to take an express Lyft. I stood there shaking with my pressure going up and a lump in my throat, wishing I was able to do more to that envious girl. And it said my driver was 3 minutes away as I was tracking it. But strangely, the person I saw on the Lyft looked so familiar in the picture. But because I was so heated, I couldn't really function. Finally, the Lyft gets here, and it's the same creep that gave me the blank stare at the party. I try to wipe my eyes and look at his license plate, so I flicked my cigarette and got into the car slowly. I kindly asked, "Weren't you just at the party?" He slowly turns his head and says, "Mm-hmm." The way he said it sounded like a sinister moan. I tried airing out my skirt since it was still wet and reeked of rum. He started staring at me up and down, swiping his lips side to side. I aggressively shouted, "Please drive." He slowly starts the car and drives me to my destination. I'll be honest, I didn't like the vibe. The driver started making these weird moans while rubbing the seat next to him, and I noticed every few seconds he started staring at me through his mirror. Finally, he started talking and compliments me on my outfit. I annoyingly say thank you and began fidgeting in my seat. Then he starts saying, "I love the wetness on your outfit. I can see right through your outfit," and tried to reach over to touch my knee. I shouted at him and told him to knock it off. But he begins giggling. I started shaking my head and my heart was racing. For the remaining 20 minutes, he starts playing Marilyn Manson and starts humming. Then he asked me, "Can I just take you to my house?" I was so disgusted and freaked out. I cleared my throat and looked out the window and told him to continue driving. Then he had the nerve to say the things I would do to you in that outfit. I really was scared this time and I kept tracking my destination, and finally it said I was 7 minutes away. When I finally made it to my house, he slowly pulls over and says, "Nice house. I'll remember you." I quickly opened the car scared to death and struggled getting my house keys and kept looking back. When 9 o'clock hit, I finally got into the shower and started washing off my makeup and spray paint out of my hair. And I started sobbing thinking about what happened earlier that night at the party. As I got dressed, I thought, holy shit, I forgot my phone in the lift. I heard a glass vase fall near the basement door, along with a grunt. My hand started shaking to open the door. My heart was in my stomach, but I opened the door, and I turned on the light. It was the creep from the lift standing still with a blank stare. He was holding my phone in his hand. I shout out, "How the fuck did you get in here?" He slowly tries to walk towards me and I slowly back away. "Do you want your phone or not?" he asked. "Just leave it and escort yourself out of my house," I replied. "Why did you change out of your outfit? I liked it." "Sir, I told you to leave or I'm calling the cops." He starts walking a little faster and I back away. "All I wanted to do was see you in your outfit and maybe have a drink with you." I ran quickly to the front door shouting out for help. Then I went to my neighbors and banged on the door for help. I begged them to call the cops because someone snuck into my house, and I told them that the person had my phone. And unfortunately, my parents were out of town. After an hour of crying, rocking myself back and forth, I started asking myself, why was this happening to me? First, a fight at the party, and now someone trying to assault me? I found out that the cops raided my place, and it turned out that the creep broke into the window of the basement. It seemed like he trashed my house after I ran seeking help. The cops saw a bunch of chairs thrown around, and my windows were shattered, and all my lingerie was scattered around the room and hallway. A day later, after my parents returned, I realized my portfolio modeling book was gone. I had no idea what was going on in this psycho's mind. How did he go from a random guy to a party to all of a sudden a Lyft driver? Until this day, I never stood home alone again.